Kansas City Chiefs are a team that didn't have a ton of picks, but they're also a team that's going through a tiny bit of a transition. The Kansas City Chiefs, obviously, with a new quarterback, no longer Alex Smith, they have Patrick Mahomes. Second round pick was Breeland Speaks, defensive tackle. That was a fine pick. I didn't really feel like he was a huge position of need. But, you know, they go back-to-back defensive tackles. So they obviously felt like their run defense was a huge position of need because of that playoff game against Henry and the Titans. So maybe it was a bigger position of need than I really thought, but I felt like they maybe, you know, they did add Anthony Hitchens, their inside linebacker, in their linebacking core. Their offensive line is solid. Their running backs are solid. Their receivers are solid. They had a good free agency. They get Eric Berry back. I think they could have went corner maybe in this draft, but defensive tackle was good. They do get a corner in the 6th round, Tremaine Smith. Armani Yates could end up being a good safety pick in the 4th round. Just a really active DB. He makes plays. Good athlete, so could be a good pick there. But Kansas City, I think, fine draft for me. They didn't have a ton of assets to go out and get a ton of great players, but they did address their defensive line with some depth. Kind of seem a little undersized in those two guys, Speaks and Nandy, but I think that it was a fine draft. I gave them a C+. Overall average, not my favorite draft, but not necessarily a bad draft because they did get players that I think can contribute right away and can rotate. But I don't think the Chiefs are really going to be about what their draft class does this year. It's going to be more about what their transition is like from quarterback to quarterback. How great is Patrick Mahomes in his first year? And how much of an improvement does their linebacking core get in Anthony Hitchens? How much does Sammy Watkins improve their playmaking on offense? So I think there's some questions that were more about their free agency and their moves otherwise from the draft. But their draft does help kind of fill in some spots where they missed in free agency. So I think Kansas City was fine there in their draft, and I gave them a C+.